I'd like to introduce Paul Singh, who is director at TIE, a very well-known entrepreneurs and startup association here in Silicon Valley. So please welcome to the stage Paul Singh, who will introduce our next session. Come on, people. Give him a hand. Thanks.
Oh, good. All right. Didn't want to have the baby born in China.
Who is one of the leading venture capitalists that all of us know. He is also the person who invented the concept of viral marketing in the form of Hotmail in terms of putting the signature at the bottom. And he also runs a university called Draper University. So please welcome Tim Draper.
Well, this is fun.
Yeah, a lot of people here in the morning. I thought most of the developers don't wake up this early. Welcome, Tim, to this session. So I think most of the folks here are from the mobile industry. And so they want to know really, are you really bullish on mobile?
Yeah, boy. It sure is changing the whole nature of the world. I think just everything is mobile now. The two things in my pocket are an iPhone and a Tesla key, and they're both very mobile. And they're both, interestingly enough, done by extraordinary entrepreneurs who had huge attention to detail and really wanted to delight their customers. And so if I leave you with nothing else, think in terms of delighting your customers. Your customers are everything, and you do everything in your power. Focus very, very hard on just that one thing. Delighting your customers, you'll be in great shape. So mobile is huge. It's everywhere. I mean, I do everything on my iPhone or my iPad, and we have quite a few mobile investments. We have one in Flurry, which does all the analytics behind mobile, and they actually did all these analytics, and they determined that Steve Jobs was going to ship an iPad, and he was so mad because they figured it out ahead of time, and they pre-launched his iPad. So Flurry's great. We have a new one that's about to launch called Duet, which it's going to be a product called everything.me, and I think you can download a beta now or something, and that's quite extraordinary. It in effect adapts to where you are and what you're interested in. So that if you want to press an app, it adapts so that it keeps changing. It's a changing app
based on your personality
system or something. Yeah.
So is that a company based in China, or is that
no?
Based
that's an Israeli company.
Oh, that's an Israeli company.
Yeah. We've got a few investments in just about every country in the world now.
So. Talking about that, I mean, are there any, you've invested in China, you've invested in India, Israel, So, I mean, is there any particular market you think you're more bullish on versus the others?
Well, I kind of like going where no investor has gone before. And so, we were very early into going into various cities around the U.S., and then we were very early to go into China, and we were very early to go into India. Actually, my dad was first to go into India.
Mm-hmm. I remember he did a lot of companies.
I'm flying to Dubai now, and I'm kind of interested in seeing what the Arab countries have to offer, because I know nobody's looking there. I think historically, though, China has been a fabulous place to invest. And I think the future looks very promising in China. And India is also, there's a great opportunity there. It's more complicated to invest in India.
Your father figured it out.
It's harder. Yeah, he figured it out.
Yes.
I have not yet.
Didn't pass on that advice.
We have some great investments in India, and we're hoping that they bear great fruit. China, of course, has borne Baidu for us, and that was a big, huge win.
What about Africa?
I have interesting, I have an island in Africa.
Yeah, I saw that on your website.
It's in the middle of Lake Tanganyika, and it's a lodge in Africa. I think the infrastructure is just starting to happen. I do have one mobile investment in Africa, and I think Africa has some potential. You know, a country is really going to succeed if the leader encourages free enterprise, and if it encourages private ownership of property. Because, and in Africa, a lot of the countries have leaders who, if you build something great, they'll just go steal it from you. So I think what will happen eventually is that those bad leaders will be overthrown by mobile applications, and better leaders will come in. You know, I mean, Egypt and Tunisia were both kind of overthrown by wireless applications.
Yep.
And so was the Orange Revolution in Ukraine used instant messaging to keep the pressure on the capital. And I met President Yushchenko, who's a wonderful man, and he was a part of this Orange Revolution, and he became president after the Orange Revolution. Of course, then the other guy came in, or somebody came and poisoned him, and it made it a little tougher for him to be the president. But he told me that that they used wireless instant messaging to keep the information flow going, so that people could keep pressure on the capital, and so that the pretty women could put flowers in the guns and just keep the capital and just melting down the defenses of the capital. It was great. He also said something interesting, which was, I said, why would I invest in Ukraine? It takes 23 bureaucrats and 6 months to even incorporate in Ukraine. And I can incorporate in Delaware overnight. And he said, well, that will be 1 week, 1 bureaucrat. And it sent me a message, basically, that Ukraine, as well as all these other countries of the world, are doing their best to attract entrepreneurs like you guys and venture capitalists and business people. So it's a competitive governance situation out there.
Good. So let's change the topic a little bit. You know, just looking at the mobile ecosystem, there is the consumer-facing side of things. There's the enterprise, which again has become hot for a change, and gaming. What do you see? Which of these segments are in your investment thesis, and why?
I think they're all pretty exciting. The gaming business is great because you can give a game away for free, and then as people get more and more addicted, you can start charging them for, you know, fertilizer or whatever it is you're selling them, or virtual fertilizer. I think that's a great business model. And actually, if you guys, any of you guys have a really brilliant idea, what's great about the world today is that you can spread it all the way around the world really quickly. So you can you can get 1 billion customers in less than a year. We have a company called Tango, which is peer-to-peer video conferencing, and it's free, and it's spread faster than even Hotmail or Skype spread.
Much better to spread it now.
Yeah, so if you guys come up with some really interesting technology, the word spreads now around the world a lot faster. So think big and and focus on that customer. That customer is important.
So if an entrepreneur sitting here thinks that he has a great idea, which is really big market.
Oh, you asked about the enterprise too.
Yes.
Sorry. Also the consumer, that was the consumer. What usually happens is the consumer adopts new, and they adapt to it, but they adopt new technologies first, and they say, hey, this is really cool, this is really something fun, this is something we can use. And then it takes a while for the enterprise to come in, but then they do come in a big way. So if you're in a consumer world, and it started to spread to all the consumers, and they found a lot of interesting applications for it, you will find that the enterprise follows, and they follow fairly quickly. So, sorry, go ahead.
So that has changed. It used to be the other way around, but now consumer starts the revolution, like the enterprise starting
That's
to
interesting.
buy products.
I've never really thought about it that way, but that actually is true. The enterprise is slow to adopt because it has so many other decision makers.
Right.
The consumer just has to buy it.
Not even buy these days. Just pick it up.
Yeah, they just pick it up, download it, push a button.
So an entrepreneur here who thinks he has a great idea in gaming or consumer-facing application.
Or enterprise.
No, we'll come to the enterprise in a minute.
Okay. Yeah.
So he wants to raise some money. He thinks he's got the $1 billion idea. What's your recommendation to him or her?
First of all, make sure it is a unique, very interesting idea. Do your research. Dig in, because there are a lot of you out there, and a lot of you are competing with each other to figure out how best to grab the consumer. And if it's truly unique, and truly something that has a chance in a very big market, then send it to me, tim@dfj.com. We're looking at everything. We have a good system for looking at entrepreneurial ventures, and I encourage you to, if you're looking for money, we've been doing it for a long time, and we encourage you to come our way.
So let me stay on that. So, a lot of companies in an early stage or in today's market really don't need the kind of money that they needed in the past. So the problem that most of the entrepreneurs, I did a poll and have people ask me questions that they wanted to ask you, saying, most of the VC thesis is if I am looking at least $5 million, it makes sense to go there. So what should they do if they're not really looking for that kind of a money right now? Do you have some plan?
They should still come to us. We have, come to me. We've got the DFJ Alpha program, which is for small, little investments. And actually, we, the larger group DFJ, have invested in something like 600 companies, and we invest in about 100 a year, and so it's pretty likely we would put a small amount into some entrepreneur and give them a shot.
What's small?
We'd put in as small as $100,000 and then as much as $20 million.
Okay. So talking about the enterprise again, is there a different criteria or a different lens you put on an enterprise app as opposed to a consumer-facing app? And if so, what is that?
Well, yes, except enterprise can be spread the way consumer applications can be spread. There are a lot of companies that have taken advantage of the fact that they can penetrate the enterprise through a consumer app. And then they go to the enterprise and they say, well, you have 400 people in your enterprise that are using our app. Why don't you make it standard for your organization? That's an easier sell than, hey, I've got this new app and it's going to be great for your enterprise, and why don't you try it? I think that is a very hard sell, to sell the enterprise that way. It's a very hard sell, and those require a lot of money and a lot of time, because you need lots of salespeople pounding on doors, making sure the CIO wants to buy the product, and marketing wants it, or finance wants it, or whoever it is you're trying to sell to. That's a tough business. But if you get above the fray there, as a few of ours have done, Sugar CRM and Box. They have grown above the fray. Then it's a great business. It keeps going. It keeps growing because there are a lot of enterprises out there to sell to.
Yeah, but it's really tough to get to that stage for many companies without having a lot of money.
Very tough.
So let's talk a little bit about something that I know at last TiCon we sort of launched with you together, the Draper University.
Yeah.
What is that about? I think some people might know, but others may not, so please.
So I started something called Draper University of Heroes, and it's for you entrepreneurs who or engineers who have a good idea, but they're not quite sure how business works or how what kinds of things they have to be thinking about when they run their business. And I thought that entrepreneurship, people have said entrepreneurship can't be taught. So whenever anybody says something can't be done, I always think, okay, how can it be done? And so we do it in a very different way. We look at entrepreneurship in a very different way, and we have a lot of fun with it. We have sort of 5 sections. We have one part that's called history. Not called history, it's called future. We teach a combination of predictive analytics and science fiction, and we get people thinking 5 years, 10 years, whatever ahead. And then we do design, but we do it in a lot of different ways. You'll learn Photoshop and game design, but you'll also learn how to paint and colors and whatever else. And then we have marketing, but we don't teach regular marketing the way business schools do. We teach viral marketing and social media and crowdsourcing and all that kind of thing. And then we have finance, and the way we teach finance is it's through a simulation. So it's not, there's a little bit of the boring accounting thing that goes on, but there's also this kind of fun simulation. And then we have survival training because entrepreneurs have to survive. And then we have a big pitch where they pitch a panel of of venture capitalists, and they have a 2-minute presentation. So that's somewhere between a 6 and a 10-week program, and we're targeting people 18 to 28 years old. Our next session will be in February, start in February, and you don't have to spend 2 years of your life and go get an MBA. You can actually go as an entrepreneur and get a good sense and have a lot of fun and have a good sense at the end of what is going to be entailed to be an entrepreneur. We also have some incredible speakers who come in, and we had Tony Hsieh from Zappos, and we had Bill Hambrecht, and we had the number one wealth manager from Morgan Stanley came in and taught how investing works. I mean, we really did have an extraordinary program, and we'll continue to do that. So that's what we do.
So it's so anybody who wants to register or want to be part of it.
Oh, go to www.draperuniversity.com, and you'll get a good flavor for it, a little bit of a flavor for it. There's some videos there, and you can see that it's not all business. It's a lot of fun, and what we're doing is we're making entrepreneurs by taking them regularly out of their comfort zone. So if you're if you're into yoga, you'll learn how to shoot rifles, and if you're into rifles, you'll learn how to be a yogi.
So it's like a boot camp for entrepreneurs.
So it's real boot camp, and we say we make heroes, or we make people just better. So it's probably worth doing, or sending your children to, or whatever. And we're going to have a 2-week executive session for those of you who are older and busier. So eventually we're going to do that. That may be April, May timeframe.
So the last question, they call you Risk Master, or you call yourself Risk Master.
I actually call these guys Risk Master.
Okay.
The entrepreneurs are really the Risk Master.
So let's salute the entrepreneurs then with your song.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Can we play the song,
hit
please?
It? I think I have to stand for this. Okay, this is to all you entrepreneurs out there. Life's tough, but we know it. Invested all his mattress money. Divorced his prom queen, hometown honey. Scraping up his alimony. Friends think he's a little funny. Needs a world-class CEO. Just another million or so. Get him to some real cash flow. So tears and sweat can IPO. For 15 years, he's been outgunned. Bankers demanding blood refund. Companies looking moribund. Even Draper will not fund. He is the risk master, lives fast, and drives faster, skates on the edge of disaster. He is the risk master. He's got a mission, company vision, an artist's ambition, gut intuition, fearless and free employee. No guarantee for the corporate escapee. Team fights on against the trend. Had to lay off his best friend. Called a recession, feels like depression. Chapter 7, is this the end? Then a salesman shouts, we got it! The company's gonna show a profit. To think the papers rang quixotic. The sky is open, astronautic. He is the risk master, lives fast, drives faster, skates on the edge of disaster. He is the risk master. He is the risk master. Everybody lives fast and drives faster. Skates on the edge of disaster. He's the risk master. He's on top of the world. At last they see it. Vision unfurled. Cash flow landslide. Now everyone wants a piece of his hide. Press wants him fried. Court wants him tried. Anyone this rich must have lied. Now we have a little instrumental here. Behind the head. Everybody. He is the risk master, lives fast, drives faster, skates on the edge of disaster. He is the risk master. He is the risk master, lives fast and drives faster, skates on the edge of disaster. Okay, we can cut it there. Thank you.
Give him a big hand.
I don't think they'll want me on The Voice, but you know.
Good job.
Great.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you,
Nice.
Paul.
That was awesome.
Great.
Justin Draper, watch out.